Shall we do an update on the Repro X PCB? Yes, black and gold. Looks pretty. I might try some other colors in the future. Still not the final version though. I changed a bunch of stuff from the green ones to this. I added GNROM and MHROM functionality. Seemed like there was something else I added too. I added 32 pin capability on the char, which all I really did was add the other 4 pins, and 3 of the 4 just pulled high all the time, 2, 31, and 32, and had to put a jumper on pin 1, so that was an extra set of jumpers. I got sort of a logo put up here, right there. I wanted to try using the solder mask stop layer to make that X gold, and it worked. And I've already had somebody draw up an even cooler logo, and I've got that on the next version of the board that I'm going to try. There'll probably be more gold on that one. I don't know if I think even Repro is in the stop layer. The dimension of this changed, so hopefully it fits a little bit better. We'll check that in a second. But yeah, as soon as I had these made, I started changing a bunch of stuff because I found out that my caps that are up here in the corners need to move because there's screw posts right there. And I added a surface mount version for the AT Tiny 13, and I almost added surface mount. I also added surface mount versions of the caps because I like to just pop on the surface mounts. Easier than doing the through hole, honestly. I almost added surface mount versions of the 161 and the 32, but they probably won't fit inside those packages, so I'm kind of still mulling that over a little bit. What else? Yeah, it seemed like there was something else I changed, but I've got this listed as a Rev 6, and I don't even know if that's true. I just kind of started at 5 because I don't know how many versions, but I've never actually sold anything public, so that's one of the things I'd like to know more about. I was never educated on what deserves a rev. You know, what deserves a 0.1 to 0.2 versus a 6 to 7. You know, if I'm just doing prototypes at home, do I really need to change the rev that much? I don't know. You know, if I'm not selling it to the public, then whatever. So let's take a closer look at this board. So yeah, one of the first problems that I had with Repro X PCB was it fitting in the shell. I don't remember, seems like I cut off a little bit of that right there. Maybe on both sides even, for the green one. And I went back and redid the black one. I actually measured it out myself. Ooh, that is almost perfect. Looks like it needs to be a little wider right there. And then it would be perfectly fine. This is an original Nintendo shell. Well, it actually fits a little bit loose in the original shell. So the reproduction shell, which is the one that I get from Memblers, who is a part of the group that buys them with greeting carts. So yeah, I can kind of live with that. Honestly, if I know it's going to be loose in the original shell, then I might want to leave it as is. It might just vary a little bit from shell to shell on the repros. But you can see these posts right here, which were also on the original shell. I believe that's what the, I don't have one handy, I don't think, but the 60 to 72 pin converter, the opposite of this one, they bolted down to that for stability. And of course you can see my freaking caps are right on top of both of them. Might even have to move over. And it looks like the AVR is going to miss it just barely. I probably could move it over just a little bit though. Won't matter if I'm using SMD version though. And that's something else I added. I added on the back side, I had a little white solder mask or silk screening to try to write in what the game was that you put onto this PCB. But that is awfully thin now that I see it in person. So I guess I could get rid of where it says mirroring or move that over to here, make that white area bigger. I think I stole that idea from some of the other PCBs I'd seen already. But yeah, the big thing was I changed all these jumpers around. Up in here, and there, I mean they're all on the back side still, but I found a few that weren't necessary. And I found, see, there's 3 of those right there, and now there's like really only 2. And D got the pull-up added. So I had to go back and change a lot of those jumpers. So I'm probably going to go through that entire testing process I went through with the last video, and probably won't show that because it was long and tedious and nothing really happened. But I need to go back through it because, you know, I had to rename my jumpers, and yeah, they don't match up at all anymore. I started with A up here this time, and I don't think that's changed in the new version. If it has, then I won't even bother, and I'll just have them made again and restart the testing process again, because I need to write up, you know, for this mapper and these chips, you got to do these jumpers basically, and that's a big long list. So I'm gonna have to redo all of that testing, but it is coming along anyway. I just noticed something. I'm missing some silk screening. All 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers are missing on the C jumper pad, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 are missing on B. I'm just about betting that they're all like that. And I ordered 20, and I got 24, which was cool. But yeah, it does. It looks like they're all missing. And that actually could have been something that I missed, because I had to make those jumpers in Eagle by hand, and I numbered them by hand, and maybe I got the numbers on the wrong layer or something. And then when I actually did the CAM processing, it didn't actually include whatever layer those were assigned to. So that should be an easy fix anyway. And yeah, they did get all chamfered I should say, not chamfered, chamfered. It's kind of hard to make out, but there you go. They all got chamfered this time, so that's good. So I can still use them. It just, you know, it's not the final revision, so this is not what will be sold to the public whenever that happens eventually. I just noticed another error on the front side's silk screening. See that line I got right there? Well, I had one over here too, but somehow it got lost. That makes me wonder about the layers, because maybe it's not the layers problem that we're having with the numbers on the back. Maybe it's some other problem. I know that was there. I don't remember putting it on the green one, but I remember specifically putting it on this one, so I have to check into that also. So 2 of the big additions to the mappers that the latest revision will do is GNROM and MHROM, and the only MHROM is Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt, and that's what I've got on here now. Works great. Alright, the other big one is the GNROM, which I think what is it, Dragon Power was the only US one, and there were some variations like I don't know, was it Bandai or Jaleco or somebody had some GNROM stuff, but mostly Dragon Power. But works. NROM works. CNROM works. Venetian CNROM works. Okay, AM ROM works. Alright, so AO-ROM works. Okay, BN-ROM works. There's UNROM working. Well, there's UO-ROM, best of the best fighting. Whoopee. There was one last UO-ROM test that somebody wanted me to run. We've been rickrolled. Which it's pretty cool to hear music coming from the NES. It doesn't sound that bad, really. Kind of cool. So yeah, that's I think that's all of them. They're sitting here. I've got AM-ROM, AO-ROM, BN-ROM, Panesian CN-ROM, CN-ROM, N-ROM, GN-ROM, MH-ROM, UNROM, and UO-ROM. So that's 10. So that's where the X of Repro X is coming from. This is not the final version, and another reason why I do this testing is on the AM and AO-ROM. I actually found one of my jumpers had been just disappeared or whatever. I think it was trying to feed Pt2 to the D input of the 161. Somehow I had, from the green to the black, I had misplaced it. So I got to put that back on there. And the logo is going to be different. Probably going to stick with black for the next run. And I've actually tested one, whatever you want to call it, the CIC clone. So I know that's okay. And what else? Oh yeah, I found, and I have to get a close up of this, I found a problem that I'd actually seen a long time ago, and I blamed the fab for it. But my solder mask and polygon fill are coming too close, or I should say my polygon fill and solder mask are coming to the same point around pads and stuff, and the fab doesn't always get it lined up perfect. So there's been some exposed polygon fill because the solder mask moves and exposes it, and I actually had a board, I think it was actually my GN-ROM board. I spent a whole day trying to figure out why it didn't work. I had one signal, I think it was D7 or something like that, on the char grounded, and it was because one of the pins had been soldered, from the pin to the polygon fill, which is ground on the bottom, and it screwed everything up. So I got to figure out what eagle setting in there to change to make it so where that does not happen anymore. But I think we're there, really. I've got a bunch of 161s that came in, and I ordered a bunch of 7432s, and I ordered a bunch of 6264 RAM chips. And what else? I might try to put some caps on hand, just the surface mount ones. I don't want to deal with the through hole stuff. And I also have cartridge shells. I'll show those for you. I have the clear and black shells. I'm getting them from Memblers. It's the same shells from greeting cards, and I can't remember what he changed his name back to, Retro Scribe, I believe. And there's a little baggie in there with the screws. And I think they can get other colors. This is what I have right now, and I only bought like 150 of each right off the bat, and I actually should be getting more in at some point. So I'll probably do some kind of combination, because I don't really want to sell just one PCB at a time. I might be able to, like if I can stick it into a Christmas card or something, that'd probably be okay if you don't want any components or whatever. But like maybe you do 10 PCBs and 10 cart shells for some special price, since I can put all that stuff into one box, and it just makes it worthwhile to do bulk orders instead of just one of this, one of that. So stay tuned, we'll keep you updated.